Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching the Shazam Political Vigilante, bringing truth out of the ashes of lies for the citizens of Gotham. This is the People's Channel. You guys make this channel happen. I cannot do it without you. You see that scroll below? That's all the ways to support the show. We've been demonetized by YouTube for over 2 years because we talk about Epstein, we talk about anti-war stuff. Man. So one of the things I've been a big advocate on for this show is paying attention to the corrupt banking system, which owns both of our political parties, because I was screwed over by this. Some of you, if you're new to the show, might not know this, but I lost my home in the housing crisis of 08. I actually foreclosed on it in 2010. It was a 16-month battle to keep my home. They said they were going to, basically they came in and said, we'll cut your mortgage payment in half for 3 months, and we'll call it a forbearance, and we'll restructure your loan for after these 3 months and have a lower payment. I was like, great. I'd lost a bunch of work because of the recession. And after the 3 months, they said, oh, you don't qualify. And now you're 3 months behind. And they did that to me 2 more times, once under Bush at the end of his term and then twice under Obama. And then I found out later that it was all a scam. One West Bank bought my loan and millions of others from IndyMac and deliberately kicked me out of my house to make a profit. That's the short story. So ever since, one of the reasons I started the show was because I was screwed over by the system. I voted, I thought Bush was awful, which he was, and I thought Obama was going to come and save the day. And Obama screwed me over too, because he's bought and paid for just like Bush is, right? So one of my goals of the show is to educate you about what's going on. When the pandemic hit, 3 years ago, I started educating you guys, and as I got more knowledgeable about Bitcoin, learning about Bitcoin, because I said another financial collapse is coming. I said it's coming, and it happened. I mean, when first there was FTX, which was a crypto exchange in November, but then the traditional banks in March started going under, right? Right? And I said more banks are going to follow, and this just happened 2 days ago. Trading halted in shares of 2 more U.S. lenders as fears of banking crisis mount. Regulators step in after PacWest and Western Alliance shares plunge as investors fear repeat of First Republic, SVP, and Signature failures. First Republic, SVP, and Signature, that was March, right? And we're also going to show you on this how Congress sold stocks knowing that SVP was going to go under. I'm going to show you that in a second. I just want to show you how corrupt the system is. And I keep telling you, it's coming, it's coming. When this happened in March, I said, it's coming. Here we are, beginning. So six weeks later. And I remember the story I did where I told you in March of 2008 was when the first bank went under. And then it took until September of 2008 for the whole system to collapse. We're probably on a similar timeline. This is not financial advice. Make your own decisions. Do your own research. But I have been buying more. I bought Bitcoin when it dropped to 15,000. It's back up to 29, 30,000. I'm looking into going down and investigating what's happening in El Salvador because of this, right? Regulators step in. Well, what does that mean? Trading in shares of 2 more regional lenders was temporarily suspended Thursday amidst a widening crisis for the country's mid-sized banks. Regulators stepped in to halt trading in the LA-based PacWest and Arizona Western Alliance. Dramatic drops in their prices, somewhere upwards of 55%. It came after another mid-sized bank, First Republic, was sold to JP Morgan earlier this week. Yeah, did you know that happened this week? Depositors had pulled $100 billion from First Republic, fearing their money was no longer safe. And they say, oh, the government didn't bail it out, but then the government helped give JP Morgan money to do this. So again, they're going to bail these banks out again. You and I can't get Medicare for all in America. You can't get student debt forgiveness. We have crumbling infrastructure. There's no money for those things, but there's always money for war and Wall Street bailouts. And that's how, ding, they stick it to us. PacWest had sought to call markets on Wednesday and said it was in talks with several potential investors after its shares fell by as much as 60%. Okay. But the sell-off continued on Thursday and affected other regional banks. Shares in PacWest fell 50% on Thursday after Bloomberg News reported that the lender was considering strategic options, including a sale or a fundraising round. Western Alliance share plummeted 45% after the Financial Times reported it was exploring strategic options, including a potential sale, which the bank strongly denied. It called the story absolutely false. Right. And said it had not experienced any unusual deposit flows after the sale of First Republic. The shares ended down 38%. First Republic was the third U.S. bank failure to be swept up in the crisis, the worst since 2008, after the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and the Signature Bank in March. Bill Ackerman, chief executive of the New York hedge fund Pershing Square, warned that the entire U.S. regional banking system was at risk. In a tweet before PacWest statement, he wrote, "Confidence in a financial institution is built over decades and destroyed in days. And as each domino falls, the next weakest bank begins to wobble." I think they're going to use this, if they haven't created it themselves, they're going to use this to push us all into CBDCs, which is the currency they can track, which is different than Bitcoin. Bitcoin, we can use, you and I can exchange Bitcoin and they can't do anything about it. So this is what he said. We are running out of time to fix this problem. How many more unnecessary bank failures do we need to watch before the FDIC and our government wake up? We need a system-wide deposit guarantee regime now. This is it. The regional banking system is at risk. SVP's depositors, bad weekend, woke up uninsured depositors everywhere. The rapid rise in rates. See, that's what happened too. But what's going on here, because of what happened with SVP in March, people, they even get a whiff of that there's a problem. They're pulling their money out of there, which I and many other big Bitcoin people believe people are going to pull their money out of banks and put it into Bitcoin. That's why Bitcoin is going to go up crazy amounts, in my opinion, just my opinion. So PacWest said total deposits were $28 billion as of Tuesday. Our cash and available liquidity means solid and exceeded our uninsured deposits. A PacWest branch in Glendale, a city outside Los Angeles, was open, quiet, and mostly empty on Thursday afternoon. No visible signs of disturbance. Outside the branch, Aaron Lee from Los Angeles City had just opened a CD account with the bank that day and not worried about the news. Okay. This person said the president will cover it no matter what. They don't want to see other banks fail. All right. That bank was empty in Glendale. Other less well-known regional banks have also been affected. Shares in the Dallas headquartered Comerica were down 13%. Zions Bank Corporation 16%. The sell-off came despite reassurances from the chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, that the U.S. banking system remains sound and resilient. Oh, what have I told you guys? The minute they say your money's safe, everything's fine, run for the hills. Remember Biden said that after the Silicon Valley thing in March? Your money's safe. Remember? So if our money is so safe, so they want you to believe that the government, the central banks, and the government, you should listen to what they say. Because, well, here's what our government does. Oh, look at this. At least 9 members of Congress sold bank stocks amid turmoil last month. So this came out the end of April. So this is talking about when the SVP thing first happened. At least 9 members of Congress sold banking stocks before and during market turmoil last week, including a member of the House Financial Services Committee who sold Silicon Valley stock before it failed. At least 9, this is from the Financial Times. This is their tweet on April 22nd. At least 9 members of Congress sold bank stocks amid turmoil last month. So we can trust them. We can totally trust them. How could you not? Representative Jared Moskowitz sold up to $150,000 of Seacoast Bank stock in March 10th in 2 separate transactions. A spokesperson for Moskowitz said that the sales were suggested by the congressman's financial advisor as a means to diversify his young children's holdings. I believe that. I totally believe that. It's just to help the kids, to help my kids. When the government, the Federal Reserve, the president, whomever, and it doesn't matter if it's a Republican or Democrat, Because if the Republicans were in charge right now and these banks were going under, they'd be saying the same things, because no sitting president or party that's in charge wants to admit that there's a financial crisis, because they'll get blamed for it and get voted out of office, because Americans have a memory is about 6 months long, and they'll go, this party right now, today, things are bad. I blame this party, so we'll vote them out and bring in the other party. Both parties are corrupt. The housing crisis happened under Bush, Obama. I mean, all the COVID, awful shit from COVID happened under Trump and Biden. Keep voting for the lesser two evils. So when a politician says your money's safe, that's literally, you should feel as secure as if someone's like, oh, you're about to have sex, and they're like, I don't want to get pregnant, I don't want to have sex. Just the tip. I'm gonna just put in the tip. I know we're all hot and horny and I got a big boner, but it's just the tip. Just the tip. That's it. No one's going to get pregnant. Just the tip. Senator Tommy Tuberville sold stock in BMO Harris Bank on March 6th. Tuberville called efforts to ban congressional stock trading ridiculous, saying, I think it would really cut back on the amount of people that would want to come up here and serve. I love it when they say the quiet stuff out loud. What are you saying? If we can't make a bunch of money getting insider trading, no one's going to want to be in Congress. Representative Gothenheimer sold stock in half a dozen banking stocks in March, including Silicon Valley Bank. A spokesperson for Gothenheimer pointed to the statement in which he said his financial decisions were made at the discretion of a third-party financial. I didn't know. Someone told me to sell it. I didn't know what to do. Representative Lois Frankel sold stock in PNC Bank in March. Senator Angus King sold stock in U.S. Bank on March 20th. This was only his second stock sale in the last year. 2 stocks in the last 12 months that he sold. One of them had connections to Silicon Valley Bank's collapse right before it happened. I just found this website, the Capital Trades, and I'm beginning to like them because I just think they just cover all of the people that have sold stock. And this is from the New York Times, again, covering the spheres of banking credit service. Members of this Congress sold bank shares. This is so hilarious. This is, again, Moskowitz. This is so funny. Children's Holdings, they did the same thing. Oh. And First Republic Bank was seized by the federal government and sold to JP Morgan Chase. Oh, God. Putting up guardrails. Though broadly legal, stock trading by members of Congress has become a flashpoint because lawmakers are sometimes privy to closely held information about the companies and industries they oversee. Oh, you think? I mean, when that guy broke into the Pelosi's house, my first thing that popped into my mind was, that's one way to stop insider trading. She's worth over $100 million. There's no way that happened legally. A New York Times investigation last year showed that during a 3-year period, nearly a fifth of federal lawmakers or their immediate family members had bought or sold stocks or other securities that could have been affected by their legislative work. A fifth, that's 20%, guys. Efforts to pass legislation to place limits on trading by members of Congress or to ban or have it stalled in recent years. Oh, they can't seem to get that law passed. The people that are benefiting from insider trading are not going to pass a law banning insider trading. Makes sense. On Capitol Hill on Tuesday, Senator Jeff Murphy, a Democrat of Oregon, and Senator Sherrod Brown, Democrat of Ohio, announced a new bill that intend to eliminate the practice that has 19 co-sponsors in the Senate. They won't pass that. That's never going to happen. Oh, listen to this. Representative Dan Goldman, a New York Democrat, sold shares in First Republic Bank, the large depositor that was rapidly losing both cash and clients, on March 15th, the day before it received an industry bailout of $30 million. The wife and children of Representative Ro Khanna. Oh, he's our big progressive liar. And I did a story on how his wife owns money in oil stocks, but he's a big defender of the environment. Democratic sold First Republic shares that same day. Representative John Curtis, Republican of Utah. See, both parties are filthy and corrupt. It's Democrats and Republicans. Sold shares in First Republic from a joint account with his spouse on March 16th, the day the industry bailout occurred. By that time, First Republic shares had already fallen nearly 80% from a February peak. They knew it. The timing of the sales by those three lawmakers or their relatives meant that the sellers averted an additional price wound that was still to come. First Republic stock is now down nearly 90% since the beginning of this year. A spokesman for Mr. Goldman said that his portfolio is managed by a third party without his knowledge. I didn't know. I did not intentionally have sex with that woman that wasn't my wife. I turned the corner. Okay. It had been raining. I slipped right at that moment. The wind blew. My pants came down and the wind, this is going to be embarrassing. It tickled my dick and I got a boner just from the wind. And then she was there and she was like, I think happened to be accidentally naked. And then I fell on top of her. And she was like, oh, this feels good. Keep going. And I was like, keep going. What? I didn't know. By the time we were like, I didn't know we were having, I was so confused with the wind and the slipping that, it was like a while passed before I even knew what was happening. And then the sex was over. So I don't know. No, I didn't. Totally didn't. Mr. Khanna said that his filings relate to trades made by a diversified trust belonging to his wife and young children. He has no involvement. I don't know what's happening. I know. Ro Khanna's wife's. I don't know. It's my kids have their own investment portfolio that my name just happens to be. They all have the lamest excuses. Guys, buy Bitcoin. I mean, this is not financial advice. I got to say that legally. But I mean, I have most of my money in either Bitcoin or I have it in some credit unions because they're less likely to go under. Oh God. On March 17th, Representative Nicole Malatokis, Republican of New York, bought shares of New York Community Bank Court after private discussions with New York State bank regulators. 2 days later, the New York Commissary Bank Corp bought assets belonging to the failed Signature Bank. Also, she knew that they were going to bail out that bank, so she bought shares in it. That prompted its biggest share rally ever. Oh, weird. She meets with bank regulators. They agree on what they're going to do, so she goes and buys stock in it and makes a bunch of profit from it. Around that same time, other lawmakers, including Senator Gary Peters, Democrat of Michigan, and family members of Mr. Khanna bought shares in larger U.S. banks like Trust Financial. Mr. Goldman, among other transactions, made a series of purchases of shares in foreign banks like Lloyd's Banking Group. A spokesworker for Ms. Mount said that her financial advisor has recommended the purchase and that it amounted to less than a $5,000. It's always somebody else did it. They get information. They tell their financial advisor, hey, guess what? I'm on the inside scoop. And their financial advisor says, you should buy this. And then they say, I guess if that's what you're telling me to do. Oh, and there's some of them. Oh, man. That's your corrupt system, guys. The banking system is going under. The politicians know about it, are probably participating in it. They're definitely going to profit from it. They're probably short selling these stocks if they know the bank is going to go down, which means betting it. You're betting it going down, right? I can't. So this is our financial system. This is why I own Bitcoin, and this is why I'm going down to El Salvador to investigate and hopefully make a documentary about how Bitcoin has transformed El Salvador. I'm hearing all these stories of people getting pulled out of poverty and they got rid of the gangs, and I'm hearing all these stories, and I want to go down there myself and a camera and investigate. That's what I want to do. So we're trying to get Max Kaiser back on the show, but follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth, and listen to these lying politicians and shave your knuckles for justice. And support our show, guys. I got live shows in Arizona. Phoenix, May 11th, Tucson, May 12th, and Phoenix, we're at Stir Crazy Comedy Club. Thursday, May 11th, and we're at the Screening Room in Tucson, Friday, May 12th. Tickets are at GrahamElwood.com. You can also watch my special manifested at GrahamElwood.com. Sign up for the newsletter, which is free. You get a free vegan smoothie recipe. Support what we're doing so I can keep bringing you this information because we keep getting censored and throttled and demonetized and everything else. America is so corrupt. Thanks for watching, you guys. Shave your knuckles for justice. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. We are still in our ninth month of demonetization from YouTube. So support what we're doing at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, which is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. It's free to sign up, and there's a premium level at $10 a month. And for that, you get everybody on the platform's premium content. Myself, Lee Camp, Ron Placone, Jimmy Dore, Whitney Webb, Kim Iverson, Abby Martin, and many, many others. You can also support what we're doing at Venmo at Graham-Elwood and go to GrahamElwood.com. We have a PayPal button and a PO box. I also have crypto wallets, which are all in the show notes. Thanks for supporting what we do.